What's going on, everyone? I'm just your everyday average Canadian nerd here to react to your average everyday American man here to react to and learn from a video about the best things to do in Quebec City, Quebec, Canada. The unreal city that you see on the screen right here. Well, hey, I haven't spent a lot of time in Quebec City, especially in my adult life. When I was a kid, I spent a few days, and so I have some memory, but not a lot. And that's okay, because we're going to dive into it without further ado. Here we go.
What's going on, everyone? I'm just a typical, average American here today to react and learn about the top 10 things to do in
10.
Quebec City.
A top 10 list, of course. Everything's top 10 these days. I don't know why. I appreciate IBX Toycat because he'll do like the top 13 or the top 8. He always avoids the number 10.
2022, wow, very relevant. There was a time when, like most Americans, I thought the name of a Canadian city was Quebec. And then I learned, eventually, it got into my brain that that was the name of a Canadian province, and now I know there's a city called Quebec City. But, yeah,
Yes, to all three of those, yes.
that was a time long ago, dark times that we're gonna forget about. Some would say never even happened. Anyway, anyway.
At the time of this original video was recorded, it was maybe just a matter of weeks before that he learned Quebec City was different from Quebec the province, different from Quebec the mindset.
I'm really interested to see Quebec City. I've never, when I think of the city, nothing comes to mind. I've never learned much of anything about it. I don't know what's there. I mean, just based on this one still image popped up, it already looks beautiful.
And the one thing that pops up in my head when I think of Quebec City, okay, there's two things. One is Mon ami Antoine. Oh yes, you've wanted French lessons. So mon ami means my friend. Antoine is a name en français. It's like Anthony, only it's the French version. So mon ami Antoine, that is my friend Antoine. So he is the one thing that pops up in my mind when I think of Quebec City. The second thing to pop up in my mind would be the old Olympic Stadium, which is, last I checked, a botanical garden.
And a lot of the cities are on the water, makes it even more beautiful. And, as far as the title of this video, Top 10 Things to Do in Quebec City, I actually really like it when it's about things to do in the city, not necessarily just places to go look at, which are cool. That's a whole other kind of thing.
In my experience, though, they are wound together that thing to do also means place to see. Not necessarily that you can do things while you're there, but going there is the thing you do. We'll find out more.
Stuff you want to go see and visit, but sometimes I enjoy it more when it's things to do in the city. Actual, like, stuff maybe you get to take part in, and, stuff you get to go inside of, look at. Anyway, could make things a bit more interesting. I'm hoping it does. And so, with that being said, let's take a look. Top things to do in Quebec City.
The only walled city in North America and a UNESCO World Heritage Site, French-speaking Quebec City has a strategic location.
I'm sorry, he said walled city?
Yes, as in the city is surrounded by a wall. In the most recent The Batman movie with Robert Pattinson, Gotham City is actually a walled city, which boggles my mind. It's a sea wall to hold the sea out, and the sea seems to be several meters above ground floor, and I'm just wondering how. But let's move on.
Walled? What What does that mean?
Like, I'm thinking, okay, how? Like, Gotham City was built and then sea levels began to rise, so they built a wall to keep the sea out. Okay, that's one way. Second way is that the sea was there, and then they built the wall and lowered the ground so they could build a city inside. And that's just ludicrous to me. So, in the movie The Batman, sea level must have already risen by meters, which means New Orleans has sunk.
What does this mean?
The only walled city in North America.
The only walled city in North America. What on earth does that mean? Is there a giant wall?
Yes, that is what a wall is. It's a wall. To wall a city is to have the city surrounded by a wall. So a walled city would be a city with a wall. What am I missing here?
Around it? Is it like the Great Wall of China built? I don't know. Maybe they'll explain that. I don't know.
And a UNESCO World Heritage Site, French-speaking Quebec City has a strategic location atop steep cliffs that overlook the St. Lawrence River. Founded in 1608
Wow.
as a fur trading colony at present-day Place Royale, it quickly became an administrative centre and today is the capital of Quebec province and one of the most beautiful cities in Canada.
Yeah.
In this video,
This
Yeah.
is beautiful. I mean, he's talking pretty fast. Oh my goodness. And I'm trying to soak it all in. But this is beautiful so far. Amazing.
Is the narrator talking fast, or is the processing speed slow?
we're going to be taking a look at the top 10 rated attractions and things to do in Quebec City.
Oh,
and
yeah.
just wait till you see the number one that we're going to be showing in this video. Something you would
Okay.
never even have thought of. So
Okay.
make sure you watch till the end.
I will.
Oh, before we begin, you can help us to bring at 10.
Yeah, just skip all the parts about liking and subscribing, which, by the way, if you haven't subscribed, go ahead, it's free, whatever, I don't care. Yeah, like the video if you like anything that I'm saying or doing around here, because algorithm plus, let's keep going.
Fortifications of Quebec National Historic Site.
Fortifications of Quebec National Historic Site. Wow, this is almost like a little, gosh.
Fort?
I mean, these are walls for sure, brick walls. I'm not sure what they're protecting here. I mean, maybe I should just find out, right?
In the more than 300 years of its history, Quebec has come to possess a variety of fortifications, all of which can be explored on an hour-long circular walk. The bastions, walls, towers, gates and countless old cannon show how well the former French colony was protected.
Huh.
Completed in 1832, the 4.5 kilometers of defensive ramparts on the west flank of the old city were constructed of granite and sand, the only fortifications of this kind in North America.
Wow, okay. Maybe this is what they were alluding to with some of the walls, literally as fortifications. I feel like I had heard this at some point in the past.
Yeah, about a week ago in this Tyler's timeline, he discovered that the city was founded because it was on a major waterway as ships could enter into North America, and that the French had built a fort there to protect the waterway. So that's why the city on the water is fortified, because it was a defense against any attackers like the English, who they were at war with. Am I thinking too much about this?
About Quebec. And there's a whole part of it just built for protection, old wartime protection, cannons, historic site, barricades. Very interesting, very interesting. Would be really cool to see. And it only takes for an hour. You can just walk around the whole place. That's pretty cool.
I'm assuming that he hasn't visited many forts in North America, period. And there's many in the United States as well as in Canada.
Numerous pieces of weaponry are a constant reminder of Quebec's troubled past. At 9, the Observatoire de la Capitale.
The Capital Observatory.
Oh boy, we're getting into the French speaking.
I mean, Observatoire Capitale. That is observatory capital. Do you hear the similarities? Because French and English are very much the same, eh?
Aspect of it, in the sense that it's hard for me to pronounce. Observatoire de la Capitale, Capital Observatory.
Capital Observatory.
You did it.
Atop the Marie-Guillart building, this 360-degree observatory provides more than just a bird's-eye view of the city from the 31st floor.
Oh.
Interactive exhibits introduce how Quebec City developed and grew over the centuries, with a kids' height section designed just for little ones.
Oh, I love this. I love this. It brings out the kid in me. Forget bringing the kids to this. Bring me to this. And I'll act like a little kid. I love stuff like this.
Yeah, Tyler, we should go, man. I mean, like, you got a passport? If you don't, get your passport in order and get in touch with me, nerdpopeking@gmail.com, and we'll go. We'll visit my friend Antoine. We'll do some Quebec stuff, yeah?
Interactive exhibits. And, you know, if you're bringing the kids along, this is fantastic for them as well. But adults secretly enjoy it too. And you can ride to the top and get a huge view of Quebec City. That is fantastic.
Developed and grew over the centuries, with a kids' height section designed just for little ones. The panorama extends beyond the old walled city to Lévis, the St. Lawrence, and the Ile de l'Orléans.
Cool.
You can also get excellent views of the city from the funicular, Quebec's city's solution to its extremely hilly geography. The funicular runs from Côte-Petit-Champlain in the lower town to Chateau Frontenac in upper town to save weary travellers from steep staircases.
Now, this guy's French pronunciation isn't terrible, but it's not great either. Lévis is actually Lévis, and that's just the one that's stuck in my head. There's more that could be better, but he's English. Enough said, right? I mean, les anglophones, Aye.
Wow, it's like a tram, or I don't know what you would call it.
A monorail.
That rides you up the mountain. I mean, most people, I think, most tourists, most Americans would just actually enjoy physically the ride up to the top of the mountain.
Well, that depends, because the ride itself. Sorry, I thought he was referencing a walk because, you know, hiking is a big thing. But then I'm like, what about those people who weigh over 300 pounds? They're not going to want to walk up hills because their ankles and knees are just going to, not be in good shape.
And then, of course, you get to the top and you can do things and take in all the sights, too. It's great for many reasons.
It has been transporting passengers at a staggering 45-degree angle since 1879, most recently updated in 1998 with glass-walled elevator carriages.
Cool. Very cool.
At 8, Basilica of Sainte Anne de Beaupré. Sainte Anne is the patron saint of Quebec and is credited with many miracles of healing the sick and disabled.
Oh, wow, there's a patron saint of Quebec. Who knew?
Located northeast of Quebec in Beaupré, this stunning Catholic basilica is a destination for 500,000 pilgrims each year.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, you'd be hard-pressed to find churches and chapels in the United States like this, just because the history just kind of isn't there for it to make sense.
Yeah.
But, yeah, this is definitely one of those just beautiful feats of architecture. Stained glass windows, just one of those amazing things that you got to see.
Yeah, Basilica is beautiful, and no, there aren't many of them around.
The present-day church dates to 1926, but the first chapel was built here in the 17th century. Another famous Catholic basilica is the Cathédrale Notre-Dame de Quebec, designed by the architect Baillarger and completed in 1844. The interior of Notre-Dame de Quebec is very impressive, with a beautiful altar, episcopal canopy, and stained glass windows.
Oh. Pretty amazing.
Yeah, like, the opulence of the church always astounds me because, it's supposed to be modest.
I mean, it's almost like a work of art, all in and of itself. That's how I would view it. It's like one giant, amazing work of art.
Next up at 7, Parliament Building, Hôtel du Parlement and Parliament Hill. This
Parliament building. So Quebec City is not the capital of Canada. So what kind of parliament are we talking about here?
spacious
The provincial parliament. It's like the state government versus the national government.
laid out district immediately southwest of the old Upper Town is the seat of Quebec's provincial government.
Oh, so
There you
there's
go.
a provincial, a government for each province. That makes sense. Makes complete sense.
Yeah, and let's take it a little smaller. The mayors, town halls, cities have their own governments as well.
I mean, every state in the United States kind of has its own government, you
There
know?
you go.
Governors, senators, lots of representatives for each state. Same exact way in Canada. Makes sense.
The Parliament, completed in 1877
Yeah.
but later extended, could have been modelled on any number of Parisian public buildings. The Salle de l'Assemblée Nationale, the National Assembly, and Salle de Conseil Législatif, Legislative Council, are open to the public. Both are fine old chambers, sumptuously furnished. Tickets
I like it when government buildings are open to the public, because at the end of the day, the government is supposed to be a servant of the public. They're there for the people. So if we want to come in and, and tour your parliament building, by God, we should be able to. And in Quebec City, you can.
Yeah, I've always liked that about Ottawa as well. The Parliament is totally available for a tour. You just can't touch any of the books in the library.
should be obtained in advance. Nearby, find the Grand Théâtre, a venue for plays, concerts and symphony performances, as well as the large Palais de Congrès shopping and entertainment complex.
Cool. I like that this list includes a nice combination of old historical sites and things to do, but it also has the introduction of a lot of modern stuff to do, which is very cool. You want a mix of both, ideally.
Okay, yeah.
At 6, Chateau Frontenac. Constructed for the Canadian Pacific Railway in 1894, the Grand Falmont-le Chateau Frontenac is one of the city's most prominent landmarks and esteemed hotels.
Oh.
This historic property can be seen from miles away and is especially impressive at night.
It's a hotel? This looks like a historical old building, though. How long has this been around? Chateau. I used to know what chateau means. Almost think it means castle or something. It looks... I mean, I would have never in a million years guessed that this was a hotel. This looks like an incredible, huge castle for a king or something.
Yeah, so chateau is kind of like a castle, but it's more of a house, a giant house, a big property, an opulent house. How often do you use the word opulent? Because apparently I use it twice a day.
In front of the hotel, Terrasse de Ferrine offers stunning views northwards to the Laurentians, and the Promenade des Gouverneurs leads southward toward the Citadel and Plans of Abraham.
Cool.
This elevated vantage was the original site of Fort St. Louis, the governor's residence in colonial times.
All right, Plains of Abraham, pivotal role in the 7-Year War versus England and France. Yes.
Tourists can see the ruins underneath the promenade.
Oh.
Chateau Frontenac is also historically significant for the Quebec Conference in August 1943, with the Allied powers, Winston Churchill, Franklin D. Roosevelt, William L. M. King, Vice Admiral Lord Mountbatten, the U.S. Chief of Staff, General George C. Marshall, and others laid preparations for the D-Day landings in Normandy, June the 6th, 1944.
Wow. Really? I didn't even know that.
Oh, me neither, but hey, cool, history happened there.
Next up at 5, visit Musée de la Civilisation. The Musée de la Civilisation in Quebec City is a 3-part institution that delves into the many facets of human history and the establishment of French America.
Okay, I was gonna say, you gotta have a museum or something thrown in here somewhere, right? There's always an incredible museum in all these amazing major cities. And this looks like a very nice like modern museum, honestly, because I mean, based on this picture alone, I can only assume so much. But the fact that the stuff is all set up so that you can walk around it and into it and look at it through the glass, and it's not just stuff hung up on walls. That's kind of what I'm getting at. So I think this would be a fantastic museum to see.
With the main museum located in Basseville near the old port.
Okay, so I'm guessing the museums that he's been to were all like galleries, which is why I was laughing a little at that you can actually walk around and see them, because like that's a museum. But hey, that's just me, a nerd who loves to go to museums. What can I say? And I know the difference between a museum and a gallery.
Built to designs by the well-known architect Moshe Safdie, the Central Museum is of great architectural interest.
Oh, wow.
The permanent collection draws from civilizations around the world, as well as exploring the Quebec experience.
Oh, so it features historical artifacts from around the world, but then it also gives you kind of a history of Quebec City. And I mean, this stuff here looks like it's also telling you about modern Quebec and everything in between, which is very cool, because I would need that. I need every little detail, because I would come in knowing basically nothing.
And to me, that's the basic hallmark of a museum of civilization. It will show you important things to the local region, a global and national levels, because civilization happens everywhere.
The Musée de l'Amérique francophone is housed in the historic Séminaire de Quebec in Upper Town. As the name suggests, the museum deals with all aspects of the history of the French in North America.
Oh.
The Musée de la Civilisation also has exhibits at Place Royale, where Samuel de Champlain founded Quebec, the first permanent French settlement in North America.
Very cool. Yeah, this is a pretty modern museum with a lot of different stuff.
Old building, new renovations.
At 4, stroll through Quartier Petit Champlain. Once the bustling capital of New France, the Quartier Petit Champlain is arguably the most beautiful area of the city.
Really?
Wandering the narrow streets that lace between the historic buildings.
Oh, yeah, wait, I gotta stop it.
Yeah, the buildings, they're beautiful.
This is the stuff right here. This kind of tight alleyway, roads, shops on each side, the ambiance, the brick building.
Meant for walking.
The street lamps hanging from above. This is the kind of stuff that I'd want to do. This is like physical, walk it, and actually kind of live Quebec City.
They are really nice parts of the cities to walk through. I especially loved in Amsterdam all the streets that are meant just for foot traffic. Wonderful atmosphere.
In the sense that, at least this part of the city, and according to the narrator, it's one of the most beautiful parts, and I can see why. It feels like you're stepping right into a time capsule or something.
Makes you feel like you are in the heart of an old European city.
Yeah.
The stone structures that line the pedestrian-only streets now house a wide variety of shops, services and restaurants.
Wow.
This is the perfect place to visit for strolling and meandering, and it's a truly lovely area year-round. Tourists will find artisan boutiques, Quebec cuisine restaurants and bistros, art galleries and a generous assortment of sweet shops offering everything from handcrafted fudge and nougat to a stylish crêperie.
Oh boy. Oh, we hit some good stuff here. The candy shop?
Oh, that is important in North America. We love our candy up here.
It's like they knew. They knew I'd be watching. The candy shop, I'm a total sucker for this stuff. This store, I don't even know what kind of artisan stuff is inside this shop here. Looks like a bunch of bags or something, or leather body armor. I'd take it. Give it to me. The candy, the fudge. I'll take it. I'll take it all.
Shops offering everything.
Oh my, these look like slabs of meat, but I don't mind it. That stuff on the right-hand side, I've never seen chocolate cut like that, but when in Quebec City, eat the meat-shaped chocolate. That's what I always say.
Yeah, I'm just going to move some things around here, see if I can get a better picture for myself. Looks like fudge to me. But that's just an assumption, and you know what they say about assumptions. Don't do it.
From handcrafted fudge and nougat to a stylish creperie, clothing boutiques here offer unique items for sale, from stores that offer only alpaca products to those showing the latest trends.
Cool.
Photographers will also find interesting sights in the Quartier Petit Champlain. The umbrella-covered lane, Rue de Cul-de-Sac, offers a colourful spectacle, as well as...
Yeah, I noticed this before, this umbrella-covered alleyway.
Rue de Cul-de-Sac. So cul-de-sac, it's that type of street that just ends and there's a circle and there's houses around the circle. So Rue de Cul-de-Sac is like kind of like saying street road. That's just me though.
Does that have some kind of meaning or significance, symbolism behind the umbrellas, or is it just to look cool? Because I'd be okay with that as well.
some respite from the sun or rain. While you're here, pop into La Feugerie for a treat. Watch for the large Trompe-l'œil mural, fresque du Petit Champlain, at the far end of Rue de Petit Champlain that gives a glimpse into the city's history.
Oh, wait, they're just letting you draw on the wall? That's cool.
At the far end...
Yeah.
Graffiti walls are very important. That way people can go and do their graffiti without defacing public property if they have a place to do their graffiti. Yeah.
I'll draw on the wall. And if there's some street art and stuff like that, love that too. Very cool.
At 3, see the Plains of Abraham, Champ de Bataille. Outside the city walls, to the west of the citadel, stretches the green expanse known as the Plains of Abraham, Champ de Bataille.
Which Plains of Abraham battlefield. That's that translation.
Where in 1759, the British, led by General Wolfe, fought the French under Montcalm and won. Exhibits retell the tumultuous history of how Quebec City resisted and then fell to the British.
Wow. So not only is it a beautiful park, it's got all this historical landmarks and these little informational tablets throughout. That's fantastic.
And the same at the Gettysburg battlefield. It's a beautiful park with lots of plaques and some historical artifacts from the Battle of Gettysburg, the Civil War in the United States. I have a feeling he has not been out of state very much.
The park is also home to the remains of 2 Martello Towers, later additions to Quebec's fortifications.
Okay.
Begun in the late 1930s, the Joan of Arc garden, designed by Louis Perron, has a fabulous display of flowers from spring until fall. Families visiting with children will find interactive exhibits at the museum which encourage younger visitors to engage with history, and young children will have fun with the family treasure hunt, which encourages exploration and discovery within the park.
Oh, they made a...
Cool.
They designed like a treasure hunt?
Yeah, that's pretty cool. You know, keep the kids engaged.
Within the park? That's actually super smart. That's actually so smart. And yes, I would take part in the treasure hunt. And maybe the kids can maybe be part of it if I get stuck. Beautiful.
At number 2.
Hold on, that was a drone shot. Yeah, this is just amazing. Another reason to travel to the top of the mountain on the tram. Get a good look at the whole place from there. Soak it in, then travel all the way down and walk it yourself.
Huh? Why not?
Be amazing.
At number 2, explore La Citadelle de Quebec.
You know, he says all these things about how it would be amazing, how he wants to do it. I have a feeling he never will. But I could be wrong, you know. My feelings aren't facts. Oh, controversial statement in 2023.
Thrusting upwards from the western facing the St. Lawrence River, Cap Diamant reaches a height of 100 meters and commands an extensive and varied panorama.
Okay.
Sitting atop this is Quebec's star-shaped citadel, a massive fortress protected by thick walls, ramparts and ditches that was built in 1832.
Okay, is this explaining the wall comment at the beginning? The most walled city in North America or something like that?
One of the only walled cities. Okay, so fortresses have walls. A star-shaped fortress is one of the better shapes for a fortress, and this is but one set of walls throughout the city.
That Is it literally that there are tons of fortifications and walls around the city built there as protection throughout the years? I think that's what it was. I'm thinking that's what it is.
I think he got there. That the walled city means there's walls around the city.
Still an active military post, the citadel is used as military quarters for generals, officers and servicemen, as well as the summer residence of the Governor-General of Canada. This is also the headquarters of the 22nd Canadian Regiment, which formed at the beginning of the First World War and boasts a distinguished record, including action at the Battle of the Somme and much later in the Korean War.
Wow.
Summer visitors can watch the changing of the guard ceremony each morning, and the Military Museum, located in the mid-18th century powder magazine in the southern corner of the citadel, is open year-round. On the far end of the boardwalk in front of the Chateau Frontenac, a set of stairs leads up to the citadel and Plains of Abraham.
Wow.
Yeah, I seem to remember the... Oh no, I just reset the time code. Well, I seem to remember being there, seeing the change of the guard and the, what was it, powder cellar?
Areas. In winter, the snow transforms the old streets and stone buildings into a postcard perfect
I think,
scene.
I think I went too far in one direction here. And that we were somewhere around here.
Quebec. Thrusting upwards from the western facing the St. Lawrence River, Cap Diamant reaches a height of 100 meters and commands an extensive and varied panorama, protected by thick walls.
What is this explained in North
Somewhere
America?
around here.
And walls.
Citadel is used as military quarters for
We'll go
generals,
here.
officers and servicemen, as well as the summer residence of the Governor-General of Canada. This is also the headquarters of the 22nd Canadian Regiment, which formed at the beginning of the First World War and boasts a distinguished record, including action at the Battle of the Somme and much later in the Korean War.
Wow.
Summer visitors can watch the changing of the guard ceremony each morning,
Good show.
and the Military Museum, located in the mid-18th century powder magazine.
Powder magazine. Yes, I think I've been there when I was like 8.
In the southern corner of the citadel is open year-round. On the far end of the boardwalk in front of the Chateau Frontenac, a set of stairs leads up to the citadel and Plains of Abraham.
Wow. So there's a lot to do in this area. My goodness.
And finally, at number 1, wander through Place Royale.
Okay.
This is tourist central in Quebec, both for the history and the modern-day ambience that comes with the restaurants.
I like that he's described it as wander through this place. I mean, I actually do genuinely like that. Give me somewhere where I can actually walk around and explore a bit, right?
Central in Quebec, both for the history and the modern-day ambience that comes with the restaurants.
You know, I feel like in almost every city there's somewhere to just wander around and explore. From the big city to the small town, you're always going to find somewhere where you can just wander around, take it in. And I think that's kind of crucial to a lot of tourism. Yes, large attractions are important, but so are the smaller attractions of just day-to-day life or la vie quotidienne.
Patios and shops that now fill the historic structures. Place Royale stands on the site of Quebec's actual foundation, the spot where, in 1608, Samuel de Champlain erected a fur trading post that soon grew into the capital of French America. Named in honor of Louis XIV, whose bust adorns it, Place Royale is the largest surviving ensemble of 17th and 18th century buildings in North America.
Wow.
The pretty stone church, Notre Dame de Victoire, faces a cobbled square, along with Maison Chevalier of the Musée de la Civilisation. Adjacent to Place Royale, facing out over the river and encircled by stout walls and palisades, the little Batterie Royale was constructed in 1691.
Man, this is like this is like historical building overload. You could spend all day in this section.
Yes, surprised that the oldest city in North America would have so much historical buildings.
Of Quebec City.
In summer, the area is home to outdoor dining areas. In winter, the snow transforms the old streets and stone buildings into a postcard-perfect scene.
Yeah.
This is a beautiful area to wander through in the day or evening and at any time of the year.
Cool. Very cool.
And there you have the top 10 rated attractions and things to do in Quebec City.
Wow.
Did you like what you saw? Let us know in the comments down below. Share this video.
I did like what I saw.
Now, this makes me kind of feel like my road trip should have brought me up to Quebec City. But I guess there's always the next road trip, right?
I did. That was by Trip Extreme. I liked that a lot. Thank you.
For your extreme
Wow.
trip needs.
I have a much better idea of what Quebec City looks like now, going from nothing at all. It's actually pretty amazing. It's actually very unique as far as cities go. You know, if you start looking at a lot of cities in Europe and across the world, even in America and stuff, a lot of the stuff can start looking the same if you look at it too much. But this was very distinct. This was very interesting, and I did like the nice variety of historical places, historical areas to explore.
Yeah, and I'm thinking like, yes, it's good to see that much history and architecture here in North America, because we see that in the old country across the pond, but here everything's newer than that. Hey, mon ami Antoine, je pense, qu'est-ce que tu penses si je viens là, tu peux me montrer des places, m'expliquer des choses, peut-être je peux prendre une vidéo, hein, je sais pas, mais appelez-moi, hein, c'est tout.
And all the modern museum, and there's a treasure hunt, by the way, and some of the other modern stuff that you can take advantage of. You can ride to the top of the mountain, or ride to the top of that tower and see all of the city. Just lots of opportunity to not only see beautiful things, but also go down and explore the nitty-gritty of the whole city. I didn't mean for that to rhyme, but you can explore
Don't worry, it hardly did.
the nitty-gritty of the whole city if you want, and even turn
Wouldn't that be nifty?
that into a poem if you want. Anyway,
It's so pretty.
I'll stop while I've made that beautiful statement and just say, hey,
Kind of gritty.
if you enjoyed this video, if you enjoyed this reaction, feel free to give it a like.
This one?
Or leave a comment. And
go
if
ahead,
you're interested
type it
in
down
more
there.
videos like this,
Like me,
reacting to
reacting to him,
Canada,
reacting
Canadian
to us,
stuff, culture,
and
places,
our home,
things
then-
I've never seen before.
well, things we've
Feel
seen,
free
maybe.
to subscribe
Oh,
for
yeah.
more. And
Go
until
ahead.
then, thanks for watching, and see you next time. Let's go.
Yes, thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this even a little bit as much as I enjoyed it. And I enjoyed this one. I really did. And, it's been a pleasure to be recording and posting again. And I'm happy to do it. I hope you're happy that I'm doing it. And I hope y'all just keep being awesome. Bye.
Science, spirit, life. Nerd Pope King.